Jack used to come round Park Lane where Dad lived and me. Jack used to come and have his dinner every day.
I met him because I was courting his cousin. Jack was also a churchgoer. He was at the Roman Catholic Church, and we used to be on the altar as altar boys.
Jack used to live at Stratton Strawless in a little bungalow in trees. Well, him and his sister lived there when I knew. And anyway, but there was plenty of woods and things for us to play around with. And he was wonderful when we went over. And Dad can't remember all this, but he used to kind of have us looking for the wildlife and things like that all over the place and down to the little stream.
Didn't they keep a little shop on Barn Road?
They did.
Yeah,
it was shop.
On the corner, halfway down, roughly where they built the duct for the wine to go into the factory, you know, for Wincarnas.
Well, this is Barn Road, where I lived until I was 5. And the house is just next to the passage. It was number 34. And I lived with my grandparents and my mum and dad and my uncle, all in that house. And the view opposite of Cushion's Wood Yard, which is still there. So if you drive down Barn Road, you can see the wood yard still. Typical terrace house, small front garden, and then through into what they call the parlour, and straight through to the living room, and then just a small kitchen, no bathroom, outside toilet in the yard, and 2 reasonable bedrooms and a very small one upstairs. And the back of the yard was the old city wall, so that's still there. Obviously my nanny lived there until I was 14. She used to take me to the Regal Cinema, just round the corner, and she always had a bag of Fox's Glacier mints.
Our house stood on its own. That was only a 2-bedroomed house, like a cottage really. We just had a kitchen, a living room, 2 bedrooms. And my mother had 8 children, 2 boys. The boys had to sleep at the neighbours because we didn't have room. All the girls had to sleep in one big bedroom. There was a lane behind there, I'd have to tell you this, a lane behind there, and there was a pub up there called the Bull and Butcher. That was me and my husband's local. We used to go in that pub till that closed. I don't know why we used to go there because we didn't live near there, but it was a really old pub that was. I remember when it closed, I think people were taking all the fittings. I think we got a poker to put your poke for, just to keep for memento. Yeah, I remember all them houses there, yeah. Laurie's fish shop was on the corner. I used to bike up there to work when I worked at Macintosh's, which used to be Cayley's. So I used to do Quality Street on the purple ones, with the nuts and they used to go around and get wrapped in the machine and then come out on a belt and go down the into the box at the end. But at the end I was on the Rolo, because I knew I was going to leave. So I got put on the Rolo machine, you know, Rolo chocolate. They still have them, don't they?
Yeah.
That's where I lived here. That's the bank, I think, from what I can make out of this. There was the National Provincial Bank in St Stephen's Street, which eventually became NatWest. My father, when he came out of the Navy, he was messenger, and his office and that was in London Street in the big bank. And we lived over the National Provincial Bank in St Stephen's Street. We lived above that. The bank was on the ground floor, and then we went up and we were on the 2 floors.
St Stephen's was a very narrow one-way street. I would think this is the 1970s because I can remember St Stephen's as a very young child with tram lines in the centre of the road, and there's no tram lines here. So I guess this was taken in the early 70s as opposed to the 50s or late 1940s. And I can see there a sign which is the Automobile Association sign, the AA, just beneath the sign Duff Morgan and Vermont Limited, whose premises were on St Stephen's, where their main garage was. The premises on St Stephen's was the town house of a founder of Duff Morgan, somebody by the name of Colonel Granville Duff. And indeed Colonel Duff was Lord Mayor of Norwich at one time. Colonel Duff was my maternal grandmother's first cousin, and hence my involvement with the company today. It was a long alleyway from the street, as we can see the AA sign, and the premises were behind. And this was Colonel Granville Duff's townhouse on the left, which was later turned into Duff Morgan's offices. This was merely mechanical, workshops and spare parts. As a schoolboy, I used to spend my school holidays at the age of 15 onwards working with the mechanics on cars in the workshops. What memories have I got? Well, you can see the gentleman walking into the garage there. That was Alan Davison, our service manager, or Duff Morgan's service manager at that time. And I can remember the workshop as being extremely dark and dingy and dirty, very unlike how we work today. Yes, there would have been the characteristic oily, greasy smell.
is there be a policeman standing right at the front on his podium directing the traffic. He was quite a feature and quite a vocal character, in fact, as there was 1, 2, 3, 4 flows of traffic there. And there used to be a very large young gentleman who sold papers, evening news, etc. And you'd hear his cry of "Pap! Pap! Pap!" echoing up the street. And in front of him would stand the policeman on his podium, when he was usually shouting, "Stop there, boy, get off your bicycle, show more respect."
We were at the Theatre Street end. There was a pub on the corner, and then our house came next. I mean, obviously, when we moved there, we didn't know that was Mr. Pastry's house, but Mum and Dad told us about it. When the circus used to come to town, the dance party used to park on this derelict bit to put posters up and sell tickets for the circus, and we always got free ones because my mother gave them water and let them use the toilet. So we always went to the circus.
That white building was the convent. From my back bedroom, you could actually see nuns in the cells. And they were very, very plain affairs. They had wood floors, metal bed, a plain chair, a table with a wash hand stand like they used to have in the very olden days, the Victorian times. They did the communion wafers for all the churches in Norfolk. Well, high church, very, very high. And they used to cook all the wafers or bake them in big ovens. And they used to have a fire in that area around the convent bottom. Guess when they did it? On a Monday morning, when the women were hanging and washing it. Many a time my father went after them. But they did in the end stop burning the rubbish till the Tuesday.